Hello guys, and we are here today with another very awesome deck profile. We are here today with some Kozmos. Yes, Kozmos. It's been a while since I did a last deck profile, and this is one of the two biggest decks, Draco Pals and Kozmos. One of the bigger decks this format. But before I get into the deck profile, I just want to give out a public service announcement. If you are playing on DevPro and you want to play an FTK deck, you want to play Exodia, you want to play the Monarch FTK, face the DevBot. Face DevBot, if I can speak. Don't face me. Don't go into rank and play me. I'm not gonna sit there and watch you play and then lose. Oh. And it just becomes a painful situation because you don't get to test the consistency because the duels are ending prematurely and I'm not being able to play my deck, so I can't test my deck. Face the DevBot. It doesn't matter if you're facing against Kozmos or Draco Pals if you're playing an FTK deck. It shouldn't if the deck is actually an FTK deck. So now that I got done with that rant, let's get into this deck profile and let me explain. So first card that don't think I see a lot of people playing this card, and it's surprising because there's no downside to it. It's BLS, and BLS is pretty easy to summon out. If you open up with him, of course, you don't have anything in your graveyard, so he is a dead card. But with Tin Can, being able to dump stuff, you always want to try to select the lights and darks. You're going to select like 2 lights or 2 darks and then one of the other one, and it just works if you do end up getting cards. If they call the right number, they call 8 and you get the Dark Destroyer and then it goes to graveyard. You can just banish it and then it just sets up because then you can just get the cards back with either Kozmo Town or with Strawman. And so it's pretty easy. And being able to banish stuff or just being able to attack, this deck already does a lot of damage, so that banish can just get rid of a monster real quick, or the attack twice can deal even more damage, make it even more OTK potential. You don't see them all that much, so it doesn't really matter in the end. It just is a one-of that you can see and just rip, and then people cry. The Dark Destroyer, you have to play 3. I tried playing it at 2. No, you want to have 3 copies of this guy. He is the end-all of this deck. Just being able to pop monsters and go and pop himself, and then being able to float to pop other of your machines and the whatnot. And then of course Forerunner. I'm only running one Forerunner because he doesn't really do much other than he floats, and so if you're looking to float, if you think your opponent's going to do a lot, you have the Dark Destroyer, you float into him, and then you get the Slip Rider. Slip Rider is the next one we care about because being able to pop back is pretty nice. Just that one pop is good. And then this is where we end with the floatings with Wicked Witch. If our opponent can get through our Dark Destroyer, get through our Forerunner, get through our Slip Rider, then we end up with the Wicked Witch where you pay 1,000 and she can't be destroyed that turn. Of course, Ignister is a completely different thing, being he'll be able to just send Dark Destroyer back into the deck. And then triple Farm Girl. Although honestly, Farm Girl isn't even that important to the deck. Like if you're trying to go for a game, like yeah, you want Farm Girl out because Farm Girl is just a game in a nutshell. But really, in early game, when you know you're not going to be able to go for a game that turn, you're going for this guy. This is a guy that you care about, you want on the field, because if the longer he's on the field, the more your grave fills up, the more cards you get from your deck, and that means you just get more consistency. You draw into your trap cards, you draw into other cards that are also important, such as your BLS or your reasonings. Sword Troopers, I like Sword Troopers. I don't think a lot of people like him, but this guy is amazing. Like, I understand that Strawman's great because he can summon out one of your banished, and then they get destroyed in the end phase, and then they float. But this guy doesn't negate their effects. Summons the psychic types from the graveyard, so you can summon one Sword Trooper to summon out the other Sword Trooper to summon out either Strawman or a Farm Girl or a Tin Can, and so you just got 2 monsters for 2,000 life. It's like a soul charge pretty much, and then you can just XZ into like an Alucard and pop back row or set monster. So I like Sword Troopers. And of course, Strawman, he will special summon for 500 life on one of your Kozmo monsters that are banished and then destroy them during the end phase. So you want to summon out your machines so that way they will float. And then, of course, Tin Can is amazing. Pay 500 life and reveal 3 Kozmo cards with different names. So you can reveal Kozmo Town and Cosmojo, but I don't like to. I like to reveal the monsters because, again, I'm trying to set up for BLS plays. And again, or for Sword Trooper plays. Or for whatever. And your opponent randomly picks one of them and you add it to your hand. Your opponent knows which card because the rest get sent to the graveyard. So if you reveal Dark Destroyer, I tend to reveal Dark Destroyer, Slip Rider, and then Wicked Witch. Like I said, these are the big 3 that you want to turn your Tin Can into because he has air attack, so if your opponent attacks, you're going to get rid of him. And then if you get the Dark Destroyer, you get a pop a monster. If you get a Slip Rider, you should be able to pop back row. And if you get Wicked Witch, it doesn't matter. You should just summon out and be like, ha, you can't touch me. I'm gonna pay 1,000 life, and I can't be destroyed this turn. So those are the 3 that I tend to search out. And sometimes I might search out the Sword Trooper. I don't like to search out the Farm Girl or the Strawman. Like, these just are the 3 good. And I don't like to search out Forerunner because I only run 1 and I want to be able to float into him. And then, of course, 1 for 1 to get to our tin can. And then triple reasoning. We have so many levels. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 7, and 8. So your opponent calls one of theirs. They'll tend to either call 3 or 8, and then you reveal stuff. You either get the tin can or you get maybe a straw man. It just depends on what they call, and as long as it isn't that card, you get to summon it out. And then of course you just get rid of a whole bunch of cards. You get rid of your upstarts, you get rid of a variety of cards. Unfortunately, you can't get rid of your traps, which is a little bit annoying and a little bit sad because those are important. And upstart, I originally wasn't playing with upstart in this deck, but it did help a lot because I felt like I just didn't have enough consistency. It just helps with stuff. And honestly, like, I understand this deck does a lot of damage and you might not be able to kill if you use this card. That's why you wait until main phase 2 if you think you can go for game main phase 1. But I mean, if without upstart, I feel like I can't go for game because I don't have the cards. And I mean, 37 card deck is 37 card deck. Double Tongue Twister, if you want, you can put this card up to 3. It doesn't hurt, just being able to blow away your opponent's back row real quick, or get rid of their pendulum's just really great and whatnot. And then of course, Emergency Teleport, we have 7 targets. No, more than 7 targets. We have 10 targets. 3, 5, 7, 10, yeah. Unfortunately though, I don't know if this is true. I don't think it's true. With Tin Can, if you use the Emergency Teleport on Dev Pro, he'll be banished the moment the end phase starts, just like that. But I think in real life, if you Emergency Teleport a Tin Can, like if they Twin Twister it, or whatever, you can summon out Tin Can real quick, and then if it's the end phase, get his effect off, be able to summon, be able to search and then summon the monster you search, and then before he gets banished. Because this says during the battle, during the end phase, banish it. And then this card says during the end phase. So it seems to me like you should be able to choose which time happens. If it said at the start of the end phase, then definitely he should be banished. But it doesn't. So I feel Death Pro's wrong. And then of course Kozmo Town, being able to draw and cycle stuff, is being able to cycle stuff. And then Cosmojo, being able to banish stuff from your opponent's grave or on the field, is just great. It really helps, just being able to get rid of scales. And of course, it will destroy your Cosmo monster, so if it's a machine, it will just continue to float. And then Double Strike, we're not running 3 because this deck is a little bit precarious on life. You want to keep that life because this card does cost life. This guy cost 1,000, 500, 1,000, 500, 500. So life is definitely necessity, and this is 5,000 life already, which you shouldn't expect to get off all 3 of these cards, but you might. And into the extra deck, I do want to point out I'm not running Starlight Road. I tested it in this deck, but what makes this deck different than Draco Pals or DDs is that Draco Pals, they have their scales, they have back row, and so Twin Twister, Wavering Eyes, those cards are always live. This deck doesn't really have a lot of back row. It seems to be like the second back row is Starlight Road. Like, I'm only protecting one other card really, and I mean, yeah, Starlight Road would help because it get out of Stardust Dragon, but I just felt like it made with more inconsistency. I wasn't seeing the cards I wanted. And you do have Kozmo Town, but they don't tend to hit it. Like, maybe if they have Twin Twister and all you have is one back row and you have Kozmo Town, they might use it. But you get a search, so it's not really a minus. So I didn't really see the need to keep Starlight Road in this deck. And anyways, onto the extra deck. Not very important whatsoever, but you have your 7s. So you have Big Eye and Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Then you have your 5s. So Tyrius and Genesis, and then Ardius. Cannot pronounce these names. And then Pleiades, and then for 4s we have Dark Rebellion, Carnagorgon, 101, Castel, Diagusto, Abyss, Cowboy, who gets over this guy, reduces him to 25 and increases him to 25, so he will crash. And then Alucard for our 3s, and then we're running just one rank 2 Santeria, which can turn monsters to the hand. Yes, that's what that guy does. Return monsters to the hand. And overall, I feel like this deck is definitely still competitive. It's going to be extremely cheap as well because a lot of these cards are getting reprinted very soon. In fact, might have already been reprinted. No? I don't know. I think it's getting... I think Infinite Gold comes out the 18th? I don't know. I'm not paying attention. I need to pre-order that anyways. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later.